Hello, this is Willow Moon. This video is just going to be a very short one. It was just that somebody asked me what exactly is paganism, because it is quite confusing, especially for when you're starting. You hear all these different terms thrown at you. I think the best way to describe what paganism is to actually discuss about its actual essence, its source and where it came from, which is actually quite simple really. Paganism is an ancient religion, but in fact it's actually the ancestral religion of mankind. It didn't even have a name because it didn't need one. If you can imagine our ancient ancestors just after the Ice Age, we hunted and we gathered for our food. And then the temperature in the regions began to increase as the Ice Age came to an end. Well, to the end of its cycle, I should say. And humans could live quite comfortably, but the food source that they had, which was the bison and the mammoths, they couldn't. So the bison moved to colder climates and the mammoths just became extinct. Humans took on a nomadic lifestyle then, and they had to follow the herds as they travelled, and they formed tribes and clans. But as the clans and the tribes started to grow, they had to split and they had to move and settle in different parts of the continent. Now we know from the ancient cave paintings that our ancestors, they hunted and they worshipped deities, and these deities have appeared in the cave paintings and they slowly evolved through time. To begin with, all that we needed was fertility, a safe home and good hunting. And the tribes slowly travelled and settled in different locations, so their needs changed, and then all the different gods started to appear. I found it quite amusing sometimes when I hear about people arguing over the gods, or which place a ritual tool should be placed on an altar. My personal connection is with the gods of the ancient ancestors, which is quite simple really. However, we're living in a modern world and things have changed because our lives are very, very different to how they were then. Some paths in paganism, they use ritual that have been used for a very long time, and therefore with use the energy has built up and increased, and by repeating the same ritual and being very strict and very particular about how it's done, the energy is built up over time, and this information is passed down from person to person, quite often within a coven setting. So obviously there is a need to have things, to actually keep things the same and keep them pure, so they're not diluted. But then you see that there's other paths too. I mean, some people may be very, very natural. They maybe have like what we call a hedge witch. I suppose you could say that paganism is anything which is not Abrahamic. So paganism is an umbrella term, and within this umbrella we have Wicca, Druidism, heathenism, Hellenism, or like me, you could be none of the above. I describe myself as eclectic because I don't follow any particular path. But I do like I like some aspects of some paths, which I'll adopt and use. But I do like to study about different paths because I just find it very interesting. And maybe one day I will settle down to one particular path. But my connection is with the ancient ancestors, which was very simple. So that's sort of about it really. That's roughly what paganism is, and if you want me to at some point I can explain about individual paths. Wicca, for example, it's something I'm going to be studying for a little while anyway. I'm just going to do some personal study. The next video I'm going to do is moon magic. So anyway, goodbye for now.